Hi, you're watching The Mainstream. I am Simran Shivalkar, your host for today. We are at Bengaluru witnessing the second edition of Emerge Tech, the Multicity Roadshow brought to you by The Mainstream. I have with me a true Wonder Woman in tech, Miss Christina Pinheiro. Christina, thank you once again for joining us.
It's my pleasure to be here with you, Simran.
Absolutely. Christina, with that being said, I want to understand from you how has your experience been throughout the conference in terms of the agenda and the topics that have been curated. You've also been a part of the panel for Icons. Any key discussion or any part that's been close to your heart you would like to share with us?
Well, first of all, this event has been amazing. You know, the diverse panels, the diverse topics, the diverse thought leadership that is here, and the way the whole program has been put together. Hats off to Khushbu Soni and the whole Mainstream team, right? You guys have done a phenomenal job in putting the agenda, with organizing, and even, the venue, and keeping the panel and the speakers so engaged. That is very commendable, right? And it's been very insightful to hear from all the industry leaders on the latest on cyber technology, cloud technology, and what is happening in the world of generative AI. It's been very insightful to hear from the leaders and the leadership team.
Right.
The Icons movie screening,
Right.
I've seen it multiple times, right? But every time I see it, it takes my breath away, because it is not just a movie, it's an emotion.
Right.
And like we say, it's like a love letter from the future to all of us. And it shows how, when you're resilient and
Right.
when you're innovative and when you give women the economic access, that they can break ceilings, right? So every time I see that movie screened, it just takes my breath away. And the greatest thing, or should I say the saddest thing, and I'm going to be very controversial when I say it over here, Simran, that room is bursting with people, industry leaders. But it's sad to see that the number of women leaders being represented there, literally I can count them on one,
Right.
one hand, the number of
Right.
fingers in my hand. I hope that we can have more women leaders join us. I know it's difficult to take time out on a Friday, on a weekday, but it would be nice if we could see more women leaders come out and be part of these discussions.
Absolutely. I think you spoke the fact, while women often in the leadership position, or when we talk about technology space, we do observe women taking the back seat. But I think over a period of time, we can observe a shift maybe in the next decade. But along the same lines, Christina, you were also part of a crucial panel discussion on, the role of media, wellness, and technology. How do you see this role, being inculcated, or from a leader's perspective, if you could throw some light on that, how this relationship is actually being a part of a major discussion on forums like these?
Well, there's been a huge shift on well-being. Be it your emotional or your mental well-being, and media plays a huge role into it, because with everything that's going on in the media and with the way the algorithms work, if you're watching something that is negative, the algorithms are going to throw up more negative things to you. If you're going to watch something that's positive, it's going to throw more positive things to you. So that in turn is again connected to your well-being. So what you watch defines how you feel on a daily basis, right? And how you feel on a daily basis has a huge impact on your life. Now, technology is underlying. So like Shreya during the panel discussion said, media, wellness, and technology is like a triangle in your life, the three corners of your life. And if you don't balance them, they can totally skew up your whole system. And again, it's us as a human who can figure out how we want to balance everything out. So unless you have a balance between your technology, your media, and your wellness, you as a person are going to struggle. So that's where I see it playing together, that, they have to be in balance.
Absolutely. I think we all can agree to that. And lastly, Christina, I want to understand from you what key takeaways do you think the audience, because it's a crucial discussion that needs to be, put across when we talk about big summits like these? Any key takeaways for the audience from this discussion, and how do you think wellness and media can actually complement each other to foster innovation?
Well, we've had that topic in quite a few panel discussions, right? Even in technology oriented discussions, this topic keeps coming up often nowadays, because everybody is aware that technology plays a key part in your wellness, and media plays a key part in your wellness, right? And they all agree that all of them have to be in sync. And I think one of the things that we need to be very careful about, like I keep saying, if they're not in sync, you're not going to be well.
Right.
If you're not well, you're not going to be able to take care of yourself or the others. And what I feel is technology is the driving force behind your media too. And media then plays a part on your wellness. So it's like a cycle, and it's like a circle where each one influences the other part. And I think once we get that right and we realize that they're all interconnected and they're not in silos, that's when you can see the perfect balance over there.
Absolutely. And I think apart from the insights, you also spoke about, women being at the back seat. Your observation at today's conference, we are celebrating the Women's Week, the Women's Day week. And against that backdrop, any key advice or any key recommendations that you would want to give to our female audience today who aspire or wish to make their mark in this space?
Well, again, I would like to add on with the previous question as well, right? Always find an ally. It doesn't have to be a female. Well articulated in quite a few panel is that the men agree that the women cannot do this by themselves, that they have to be allies. And if we need to make changes, women have to have a seat at the table. And I think of late, you can see that a lot of women are taking up leadership positions, and they are driving the change. They are being the change, and they are breaking the glass ceilings, right? And I think when we find an ally, somebody who's there with us through the thick and thin, and somebody who can understand the struggles that we go through, that's when you become successful in whatever you do, right? Doesn't need to be just in technology space. It can be in anywhere. I would say build your village, right? And make sure your village is balanced, and that there are people who would not be just your yes people, but people who would be there to give you harsh truth realities so that you become a better version of yourself, right? So I think to all the women who are looking to become leaders, I would say find yourself allies who will give you harsh reality truths.
Fantastic.
And who will have your back in the rooms that you're not there. You don't need an ally who just says things in front of your face.
Absolutely.
They need to have your back in a room where you're not there. That's when they become true allies. And I would say cultivate that. At the same time, we also need to put in our effort and keep ourselves up to date on the technology, what's happening around the world, what is happening around us. Keep yourself up to date, keep learning, because your learning never stops. And unless you keep learning and learning new things and you go outside your comfort zone, you cannot be successful. So that I think is very important.
Rightly said so, and I think truer words have never been said before, Christina. I am deeply inspired, and thank you so much for being so candid and being so giving us the real picture. Happy Women's Day to you, and of course, I think let's keep the conversation going. While we conclude today, I definitely look forward to connecting back with you again.
Thank you, Simran. And to everybody who's watching this, happy Women's Day, not just today, but to every day of the year, right? And it's been a pleasure to be with you, and it's very nice to talk to you. And you're very inspiring too with all the work that you're doing. So hats off to you and the Mainstream team. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words, Christina. And thank you so much again. Happy Women's Day to you.
Thank
Yes.
you.